Hello, and welcome to Filmsquatch, the podcast where two guys from the Deep South watch and review movies about Bigfoot. It's that simple. Each episode takes a look at a single film about a Sasquatch or a Yeti, and the guys break it down for you. Patrick and Kendall are true believers, but they're too old, too fat, and too lazy to get up off their sofas and go hunt for a Sasquatch themselves. So they just sit back and watch movies about them. Now, let's head over to the Filmsquatch screening room, where Patrick and Kendall are ready to discuss their latest film.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Filmsquatch. With you is Kendall Fontenot, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Bennett. How you doing tonight, Patrick?
Fantastic, man.
Man, we got a real treat for everybody tonight. We got to preview a film that's released this year. It's going to come out August 11th. It'll be available on Tubi, so it'll be free to watch. We have the writer and director of Sawtooth Mountain with us tonight, Mr. Matt Kenseth. And we're going to take a look at the trailer for the film, and then we're going to jump right into our interview with Matt.
But in the summer of 2009, a scary event happened in this very location.
What happened? Welcome to the greatest Bigfoot sightseeing location in the Pacific Northwest. The Bigfoot.
Whoa, to Bigfoot!
Kira and Liv, my two lovely best friends, you both mean the world to me. And I wouldn't want to spend a Bigfoot weekend adventure getaway with anyone else. Cheers.
Love you guys. What's that?
No problem.
You said 2 dead bodies.
Your brother know about what happened here?
That girl in there killed all her friends and then she killed herself.
Okay, you got what you wanted!
All right, everybody. Let's welcome our guest, writer and director of 2026's Sawtooth Mountain, Matt Kenseth. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was a fun movie, man. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah,
you want to give us a brief rundown of what the picture's
sure.
about?
The picture is my very short kind of summary of it. It's a prank that goes wrong. It's a Bigfoot prank that goes wrong. But yeah, it's about 3 college students that rent a Bigfoot-themed cabin, and it's run by these 2 brothers that want to boost their reviews and ratings of their cabin. So they stage a prank, a Bigfoot sighting.
Yeah, I want to tell you, I thought it was well acted throughout the whole movie.
And where was this film?
Especially the 2 brothers. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting to hear that. Like, those 2 actors, Gabriel Carter, Landon LeBron, they're both just incredible actors, and they were also friends. They knew each other before we filmed this, so the chemistry was just super easy for them, and they just, they were able to just work off each other right off the bat.
Where was the film shot?
So we shot it in Pitt Meadows, which is it's an area just outside of Vancouver. It's kind of just like east of Vancouver. In British Columbia there, and it's not too far from Harrison Hot Springs, which is like a really big sort of Bigfoot sighting location. in British Columbia, and just from like my Google searches, like Harrison is a huge Bigfoot sighting place, just known globally, I guess. You may have heard of it, and they have a museum. They have like a Sasquatch museum there, which I haven't been to yet, but it's on the list. But we weren't actually too far from there, so we were kind of in a bit of a Bigfoot hotspot.
Cool. Let me ask you, what made
Was
you
there any
decide-
activity while you were shooting?
There was.
There was. What kind of activity?
So we actually had a sighting. Yeah,
Cool.
We had a sighting. It turned out it was just a black bear, but we did have a black bear show up on set one of the days. I actually didn't see it, so we shot on this property. It was probably at least 5 acres. It was a big property that we rented, private property, and they had the 2 different cabins, and then some kind of in between stuff. And we had all of our like parking there and our crafty and everything. And one of the days, we just finished lunch, and I heard over the radios like there's a bear, and yeah, there was a bear that kind of like crossed over the 2 brothers' cabin, that sort of like location. So I didn't see it, but our production coordinator Delaney saw it. The first AD, who happens to be my fiance Marta, she was there. She saw it, and then we just like heard over the radio. They're like bear aware, and we were just like, okay, don't go that way. And thankfully, we were shooting somewhere completely opposite, so it went in the opposite direction, so we were all safe. But yeah, we did have a creature show up.
So Matt, what made you decide to make a Bigfoot movie?
So originally, Gabriel Carter, who plays Clint, one of the brothers, him and we did a movie a couple years ago, and it was a super low budget film that we did for just a very, very little money, like shoestring budget. And we had been talking about how we wanted to shoot something again. So we were always bouncing off ideas back and forth, and of what to shoot next. And I always had this Bigfoot kind of idea in my mind. It originally came from, I watched a vacation rental show, and they had gone to it was like some show on Netflix, I think, and they would go and like review vacation cabins. And one of the episodes, they went to a Bigfoot-themed cabin, and they went on a tour, and there was this whole thing. And I just remember watching that and being like, that's kind of a cool, unique thing, and that's cool that this exists. And I thought, what about this for a movie where like these people go and they rent out this Bigfoot-themed cabin, and they go on this tour, and it just goes like horribly wrong from there. And when I would spin it off to Gabriel Carter, we would talk about it, and I had so many like ideas at the time. I was like, okay, what about this idea? What about this idea? What about this idea? And he was always like, the Bigfoot one. He was like, the Bigfoot one. I was like, okay. So I'd go back and sort of develop it from there. And then it just kind of became this idea of like, what if these guys that rented this cabin, they're a little bit desperate, and they kind of like make this prank that goes wrong. And Gabriel was super encouraging for me to write it, because I was always like, okay, like, yeah, that's great, but we can write. To me, it was like a budget thing, because I wanted to do this movie for, no money at all. But as I wrote it, and as we kind of like kept progressing with the story, the budget grew, still within a reasonable place that we could work with it. But it became a bigger project. And it became more exciting, and it just kind of grew from there. So it was one of those. When I look back on it, I always say it's kind of one of those like, if you build it, they will come type movies, because I felt like we just kind of were like, we're going to make a movie. We don't really care for how much. We decided to make this Bigfoot theme movie, and it just grew and grew and grew, and more people got involved, and it became much bigger than we ever anticipated, really.
Now, I thought the cinematography was amazing in this film. I especially enjoyed, I'm assuming it was drone shots. Just these wide, almost panoramic views. of the mountains, and I mean it was a beautifully shot film. And to be completely honest, it looks a lot more expensive than I'm assuming it was. Y'all did a great job with the camera work on this film. I mean, overall it was excellent, but in particular the camera work really impressed me. Really enjoyed that. And so you did y'all use drones for any of the footage or helicopters or what?
We did use drones, yes. So yeah, all the sort of like scenic shots were all drones, and that was just one day. We had a drone pilot come out, Stefan Barrel. He came, shot it. Great cinematographer in Vancouver. He works on a lot of stuff, and yeah, he just did like half a day where he shot, or pretty much a full day, because he did day shots and he did night shots for us as well. So he did a whole thing, and he got all those drone shots for us while we were actually shooting scenes on the property. But yeah, thank you. That's really nice to hear that. Yeah, Kaio and Brian, they were I had 2 DOPs on this project. So Kaio Catheriner, Brian Casey. They were so. Kaio is someone I've worked with for many years. Brian, this is the first time I worked with Brian, and Brian came on as our cam op. And Kyle was originally just the DOP, and then it kind of became a co-DOP by the end of the film because they were collaborating so well together that Brian was more like a cinematographer, Kyle was DOP, and then they just did a shared DOP credit at the end of the day, which I thought was cool. But yeah, Kyle, he's a Canadian wilderness can-do Canadian guy, and I've worked with him on many projects, so it was nothing unfamiliar for me to work with him. And then him bringing on Brian, and Brian is just like athletically ready to go and can climb mountains and with his camera and get all these shots. So working with him was great, and the two of them together just made my life very easy in that aspect of making the frames look amazing. So thank you for mentioning that, and they'll be happy to hear that too.
How long was the entire shoot? How long did it take you?
We shot it in 10 days.
Wow. Okay. Not bad for a feature film.
Yeah, it was tough to fit everything in 10 days, but I mean, yeah, that's all we had. And it's just definitely like I'm used to kind of shooting micro budget, shoestring budget films, and where you don't have many days, you got to cram a lot of scenes in. And we had a lot of there was scenes where I wanted to take more time shooting for this one, whereas more like this is more of a cinematic scene. I want to make sure we capture things a little more specifically. But there was other scenes where it's like you can kind of shoot quicker, and we don't need to spend like half a day shooting a scene where you can get it pretty quickly. So it was a lot of just time management for this one.
Your cast, where did you pick your cast out from? Were they friends, or did you have an audition? How did you pick your cast?
So that came from so it started with Gabriel and I wanting to do a film. So I was gonna write just a film that he basically had a lead character in, and we were gonna shoot that. It was gonna be a very basic, whatever budget we had. We were just gonna shoot something. When I wrote this, after everything we had discussed and we decided this is the movie we're gonna make next, he had just worked with Sydney Scotia on a film called Ruthless Bastards. And weirdly enough, it was shot in like the same cabin that we shot the main cabin in for Sawtooth. So they were also familiar with the location. So he contacted Sydney, and Sydney was completely ready to go. And she said, yeah, let's make this film. So I sat and met with Sydney and Gabriel, and we talked about it. And after that, it was just kind of like there was a few friends that were involved, but a few actors I hadn't worked with before, but a few that I had. And Nee Do, she was our lead producer on it. She kind of came in late as a producer. Well, not late, but in terms of we were already prepping to make this film, and she didn't really know she was going to be a lead producer. And then she came on and basically took us to the next level in terms of quality and everything. And then Gabriel and Nee took on some of the casting. They ended up becoming the casting directors, so they brought on to fill the rest of the characters and brought in actors. And I couldn't be more grateful for what ended up coming together, because I think of that aspect of just Nee and Gabriel being like, let's pull resources together, let's get a really cool cast together and make this something special. So I'm really happy with all the actors' performances on this.
So Matt, let me ask you, what would you consider to be your favorite scene in the movie?
So I really like, and because I've seen this multiple times now, I love the tour part of the film where Clint is taking the renters on the tour, where he's teaching them to do the Bigfoot call. The first time you hear him do the Bigfoot call, and the one character, Jude Wilson, he's kind of like laughing, and there's a bit of a standoff between Clint and Dylan, Jude's character, and I just think that's such a good. It's every time I watch it, that's my favorite scene. It was also one of the most challenging scenes we shot too.
Can you do the Bigfoot call for us?
Well, he says it's a yodel and what is it? Yeah. I don't know if I could do it. I can't do it the way Gabriel did it. So
you
Gabriel
you have to
actually
put your hands
first time,
behind your ears like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I heard him do that was we were at a restaurant, and he was like, I got the Bigfoot call. And I said, oh, that's amazing. Like, great. And then he did it in the restaurant. And I was like, and everybody's looking like, what is that? And I was like, that's amazing, man. Like, yeah, you got it.
Kendall, do you have a favorite scene you could tell us about?
Well, I don't want to say too much about it, but it comes at a point where it breaks the tension of the film. And to me, it's a very darkly funny. It's dark humor. It's a very darkly funny part of the film. All I'm going to say is pancakes. And I mean that came out of left field, and had it been but it broke, kept on going. It's a film to find out what I'm talking about. How about you, Patrick? You have a favorite scene?
I mean, I liked anything with the two brothers involved or each by themselves. To me, they were awesome actors. Those characters were well written. I mean, great job, Matt. You could see they both had a little mental illness, or, they something, a screw loose, But I think one of my favorite scenes was at the beginning when he was in the bank trying to get a loan. And I like when he said, well, let me sweeten the deal. He pushes that brochure forward. That was funny. But he just had that, I don't know, almost a comic book villain type of vibe, kind of like the Joker or something.
Clint, Gabriel's character, had a unique run, and it reminded me again. This is the dark humor came in again to me. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it kind of reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite. Whenever he would run off, he had his hands down, almost stiff to the side, right, and he would run. I love that. It was a neat effect, and I thought it added to the character of Clint. I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Sheriff Johnson. He did a great Donald Tom Scapello, I believe is his name. I thought he did a great job. He had a small role in there, but it was very well done. Uh, let's see. Do you guys want to talk about the creature?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Now there's multiple creatures in here. Let's put it that way. Um, uh, we don't get a very good look at the big bad, but I thought it was done very well off in the. Patrick, how about you? What did you think of the creature?
Yeah, it looked decent. I don't want to say too much about that because, it's just the way it's presented. I want to keep it as a surprise for
Right.
people. You know,
Yeah. And then the music. Who did you have? Who did the music for the film?
Ketan Jogia, so super talented musical artist. He did all the score, and just a dream to work with in terms of just like it was like here's what we're thinking and here's how we see this and what we want to go with, and he just kind of delivered us material almost immediately, and it was like he would send us little tests and things like that. And we had in our first cut, like in our rough cuts, we just had temporary music and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I told them like, yeah, here's the rough cut, but like watch it with the sound off if you want, or you can watch it with sound on. But he's just right dialed in to, he knows, so much. He gets the tone and the energy and the atmosphere, and that was a relief to kind of work with someone in that way, that they see it and they get where you're going, and I just loved what he was giving us. So yeah, it was great.
As far as the film's poster, the only one I've seen is the bright red Sawtooth Mountain logo, and then the three main characters with their headlights on, and then Clint in the background, and then the creature in the shadows in the back. Who designed that for you, or did you design it yourself?
So that was kind of designed by one of our executive producers, and then the Tri-Coast that we ended up making a deal with distribution-wise, they took that to their own poster artist, and we weren't really sure what they were going to do, if they were going to use that or make something else based on that. But it kind of it was pretty much it was pretty similar to what.
Okay. And speaking of distribution, this film's going to be available to stream pretty soon. Where can folks take a look at it?
Yes, you can find it on Tubi, August 11th. And other than Tubi, you can find it on video on demand, Apple TV, Amazon, Plex. It's going to be on as well eventually, I think. But Tubi, August 11th, that's the go-to.
Okay. And do you have any social media or website where people can learn more about the film, or possibly, I don't know if you're going to be producing physical copies of the film or not, or you have T-shirts or any kind of merch like that for people to support the film?
I hope so. We haven't come up with any of those plans yet for T-shirts or what we'll do with physical copies. But I love all those ideas. I hope that does happen. But as for right now, just Instagram. There's an account, Sawtooth Mountain Film. I believe it's called something similar to that. But if you just type in Sawtooth Mountain, that'll come up, and that's just an Instagram account that should give you updates and where we're at. But yeah, T-shirts and physical copies. That sounds very, very like intriguing.
Now, the ending of the film, at least to me, there was one loose end. So I got to know, will there be a second Sawtooth Mountain?
Ooh, I hope so. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm always writing. I'm working on a few different things, but yeah, I have ideas of what happens next. So if the demand is there for it and people really want to know and we can make it happen, then for sure a sequel I think could be a cool idea.
Patrick, do you have anything else?
No, man. I just want to say I thought it was a good film. It had a lot of cool moments. Had some comedy. It had a little, I don't know, drama, some tension. I thought it flowed pretty well. I enjoyed the whole movie. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that being said, we've reached the point in our episode where we rate the film, The Sawtooth Mountain. And as our regular listeners know, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10 Bigfoot tracks, with 1 being the worst Bigfoot film ever made and 10 being the best ever made, which in my opinion is The Legend of Boggy Creek. So with that, Matt, there are no wrong answers here. What do you rate Sawtooth Mountain from 1 to 10 Bigfoot?
I mean, I don't know if I'm a fair rating because I haven't seen every Bigfoot film out there. I've definitely seen a few, but I don't know if my rating would be fair to rate my own movie. That's such a
no
hard
wrong answers.
idea. So I love ratings for, and obviously everyone has different reasons for ratings, and I love hearing all that. And I'm okay with, you know, good, bad, whatever. But for me to rate my own movie, that's just such a tough question. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be fair. A 10.
Okay. All right. Patrick, how about you?
Well,
or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say, Crazy Cajun.
Okay.
You can say 1 out of 10 as well. Like, I won't be offended. That's totally fine.
I believe based on what I saw, based on in particular the cinematography, the acting, I thought you punched way above your weight class on the production value as far as just the look of the film. Everything was really was done very well. The acting I thought was great. I really appreciated the kind of dark humor that would seep into the film at times just to kind of break the tension. And I'm right there with you, Matt. I've seen a few Bigfoot movies in my day, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And I mean that this movie's way better than I expected it to be. And so yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm 8 out of 10 for Sawtooth Mountain from me.
That's awesome. That's I appreciate that. That's great.
Patrick, how about you?
Yeah, I said I loved it. I liked the dark humor. I liked everything about that, you know, especially the two brothers. I can't, you know, talk about those characters enough. I thought they were just so well written. I think that was my favorite part of the movie, is just how those two brothers, man. I like to see a sequel definitely, but let's say as far as the whole movie goes, I would say somewhere around 7 or 8, somewhere in there. Yeah, I thought it was very good. And I urge everybody to check this out, you know, when it comes out in August. I think you'll definitely like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. Like,
yep, this is definitely.
I'm really happy to hear that you both enjoyed, you know, the aspects of it, and that's great.
Yeah, we want to see Clint.
And Gabriel, honestly, like, yeah, Gabriel Carter is he's such a like a experienced actor. He knows so much about the craft, and he's so good. And he takes, like, you give him a character, and he takes it and he makes it his own, and you just let him roll with it, and he's amazing.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us this interview to a close. Matt, we really appreciate having you on. We really appreciate the opportunity to watch this film in advance. It was a pleasure to watch, and just like Patrick said, folks, go out there 11th, correct?
That's correct.
It's coming out August 11th. Yeah, on Tubi, check it out. I mean, it's free. Before we let Matt go off to his next big film?
I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for being with us, man. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was really, really great to meet you both, and I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt. Once again, that's Sawtooth Mountain coming out August 11th on Tubi and other streaming services. Be sure to check it out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another episode of Filmsquatch. We hope you enjoyed watching this one. This was a really good film. And I know Patrick, I think he agrees with me. We both recommend this film. Check it out. It's free on Tubi. I mean, you can't beat that. I've already mentioned that. Be sure to check it out and let us know what you think in the comment section on our social media, Facebook and Instagram. Patrick, do you have anything else to add? Anything coming up or anything like that?
I just thought it was a great film. I urge everybody again to watch it. How many Canadian films have we reviewed? I know we did the World War Bigfoot was one of them. We had any more Canadian films?
Yeah, that was the one. I'm sure we did. I just don't remember them off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm glad to see people in other countries.
Yeah, Canada
are making them.
Yeah, Canada is knocking it out the park as far as I'm concerned. I don't think I've seen a bad Canadian Bigfoot film yet since we started this. So be sure to support Sawtooth Mountain, guys. Really excellent film. And so, with that being said, Patrick, if you ever go on a trip to the Great White North and you go on hang out in a Bigfoot camp and you see something funny in the woods, do you have any advice for me or Clint or Kira or anybody else up around Sawtooth Mountain?
I would say, first of all, hide the pancake mix. I think you don't want the trouble that starts once somebody gets some pancakes made. But other than that, if you hear any kind of noise rustling in the bushes behind you, watch your back. Bigfoot's out there.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Filmsquatch. If you like the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us. Make sure to like us on Facebook and join in on some of our interactive discussions. Remember, Bigfoot is out there. Watch your back.